I'm really excited. We are getting so close to launch day, launching my third book, No Ego. I don't know if people realize the work that goes into actually bringing a book from your head to publication. I've been so fortunate because I'm surrounded by an absolute dream team. In fact, I call them the reality-based dream team. This team has just blown me away day in and day out with what they're able to do, what they can accomplish as a super small team once the drama's gone. People ask me all the time, how do you get what you get done? How do you accomplish all that you do with such a small team? And I think at Reality-Based Leadership, we are living proof of the amazing power that's just unleashed once you're conserving all the energy that used to go into drama and waste and putting it instead into great works like a new book, No Ego.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed as I've been out training around some of the concepts with No Ego is when it comes to change and how with change management, people really focus on making all of the employees aware of the change, and it's really a lot of responsibility of the leaders to really push that change through. And with this kind of new model called business readiness that Sai discusses in the book, it really helps make people not only aware of the change, but then asks if they're willing and if they are first willing to be aligned with the change and then willing to be advocates of the change and really talk about how it could benefit others and how it could help the organization. And so not only just making people aware, which is the kind of the typical change management, but also calling those people in to be advocates for it and have an elevator speech to support it. I think it's a huge way to make organizations more nimble and really scan the horizon for where there might be change. And people really realize that in the trainings I've done that they can have a bigger part in those changes by just being more advocates for it. So I think that's a big piece that seems so simple, but it'll be huge moving forward.
So one of my favorite parts of the book, and it's only probably because I'm very database, is the first chapter actually, in which Sai talks about how in the 90s, drama in the organizations used to be around 2 hours per person per day. Now, however, we just revalidated the research and she found that now everybody spends in the workplace around 2 hours and 26 minutes per person per day. So even though we have all of these training programs and change management courses, drama is still going in the rise. So it's interesting to see that probably all of these leadership training programs are somehow not working.
One of the things I love about No Ego is just checking your mindset. Every day we wake up and your thoughts are constantly running. Well, your ego is constantly running and creating this filter on your reality. It's making up stories that aren't even really true. And what this does is it causes a ton of stress in your life. And when you can really just be conscious and aware of what that ego is doing, you can really put it to rest and get on to better things like being more productive, like being creative, being innovative, and putting all of that energy into something more productive and useful. When we don't, and we just let our egos run and let our thinking run, whichever way it may go, you really kind of stop yourself from progressing, stop yourself from contributing in a really valuable way, whether it be at work or even just in your own personal life.
I think this is a great book for leaders to read because it really gives you a new perspective at your role. There's a lot of different components that go into being a successful leader, and keeping up with the times and keeping up with what's new is very important. But we're talking about more of an old principle. Everybody has an ego. Whether you realize it or not, this book is helping you to understand where that ego comes into play and where you can ditch the drama.
So a lot of you might already be fans of Sai Wakeman, and if you're not, you're totally missing out because you have to go read the first 2 books, Reality-Based Leadership and Reality-Based Rules of the Workplace. And probably some of you are like, Kelly, I've already done it. I've read them twice, maybe 3 times. And you might be wondering, so why do I need to get this 3rd book? What could possibly be in No Ego that's like a game changer or mind-blowing if I've already read the first 2 books? And I would say the awesome thing about No Ego is it really gets into the science of how there needs to be a new modern leadership philosophy, about how often the ego is at work and it keeps those conventional leadership philosophies from really working. By better understanding the ego, you can actually go back and better apply reality-based leadership. And also the really cool thing about No Ego is it's kind of like reality-based leadership 2.0. It's a lot deeper into the philosophy, and it gives you some really awesome tools that you can use like right away to help see results.
This book's a game changer. It is absolutely a game changer. It will bring you to think completely differently about leadership, and if you're working in leadership or human resources, about your work and your philosophy. Launch date is coming up pretty quickly. September 19th is the big day when the book hits the market, but you can pre-order it right now, and I hope you get out there, pick up a copy, make sure your friends do the same. I look forward to your reactions and your thoughts after you've read the book.